Hello everyone and welcome to another live video. So basically I'm sitting here with my friend. I'm not sure if you can see him. Can you join? Yes, Chris.
Hey,
yeah, probably you've seen a couple of videos for him or something. So yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm ready to shoot another live video. So I just literally before 15 minutes or so, I just finished an interview. So I was interviewed by an amazing girl called Claire. You will see the interview soon, and I felt I'm still having that creative flow, so I thought why not to shoot a live video. And the subject of that video, welcome everyone, welcome Jane, welcome Marcelia, and the subject of this video will be how the feeling I'm not enough is literally affecting your life. Now, if you know, I'm gonna do a webinar in the 5th of May. I'm gonna put the link for it below, and the webinar would be how to heal or how to release the feeling I'm not enough. So this is more like a teasing or an intro of how the feeling I'm not enough is really affecting your life, or it's literally limiting your chances for growth. It's literally limiting your ability to go to the next level in life. Now it's funny, I can't really keep focusing because people are coming in, so I have just to keep focus in the camera. So I'll manage to do it. So how I'm not enough is literally limiting your life. Now probably you've heard here, Rami, probably you've heard before the thought, or you heard before that if you feel you're not enough, you're already limiting your reality, or the core of limitation, I'm not enough, or I'm not loved. Now I had that realization probably before I would say 1 month. Now I always knew that I'm not enough, or I don't deserve, or I'm not loved is kind of the core human limitation. But only before 1 month I was able to literally see it. I was like, oh my God, this is how I'm not enough is literally limiting your ability to go to the next level. So let me explain that in a very practical, easy, simple way to swallow it. I want you to think that of the feeling I'm not enough, because I'm not enough is not really a feeling. The feeling of it is either fear, it's anger and sadness, and it's more like sadness. I want you to think, if you have that core limitation, I'm not enough, how would that manifest in your life? Can you just make a guess? I would tell you, if you feel you're not enough, you're gonna seek enoughness from outside. You're gonna seek love and acceptance from outside. Now what happens through that process? The more you feel I'm not enough, you're gonna jail yourself to social conditioning. So let me explain that in a very practical way. So imagine in your country, you've been told, guys, stop putting like Rami and Audi, you're really confusing me. They just keep hitting likes and likes and likes and love. Okay, thank you guys. So imagine in your country, you've been told that to be a good person or a good woman or a good man, you need to do this or to be this. So there is like a certain information, there is a certain code of behaviors that you need to do in order to be enough, in order to be accepted, in order to be good. Now, if you don't feel from inside that sense of enoughness, what you're gonna do? You're gonna buy into those information and you're gonna change yourself so you won't feel the pain of not being enough, and you're gonna change yourself, you're gonna lose your authenticity in the way. So let me give you a very practical example so you can relate to it. So what's coming to me right now, and I shared it actually in the interview, in the Middle East we've been taught, hello Susan saying hi. In the Middle East, we've been taught that if people are old, like when you're around people who are older than you, it's better to stay silent, so not to speak. Now, how that would tear into limitation into business? If you have that belief that if I'm around people who are older than me, I can't speak, then you're gonna tame yourself. And then in your business, someone who's older would show up, and you won't be able to express yourself. Now you might not be able to track back that this is the core of the limitation that I had, that belief that I bought into it, that in front of older people I can't express myself, but this is the limitation. Now how that relates to I'm enough or I'm not enough? if you get that sense of enoughness, sense of acceptance, sense of love from inside, then subconsciously you won't need to buy into that code. You don't need to buy into it, because the only reason we buy into those limitation, behavioral limitation, is because we need that acceptance, that enoughness from outside. So we start by any conditioning the culture are throwing or influencing on us, because we need that enoughness from outside. So we start to box ourselves into the concept of the good person or the good mom or the good girl. And under that box, there is a certain type of information of what you should do, what you should not do, how you should speak, how you should not speak, how you should behave, how you should not behave. And let me tell you from experience, those conditioning are not here to give you enlightenment. That's definitely not the purpose of it. Because society has always been a marketer for unconsciousness. So you're buying information that are disempowering just because you can't let it go. Because when you let it go, it means you will feel you're not good enough. So if you don't take that enoughness from inside, you're gonna box yourself under what society consider to be acceptable, what society consider you are enough under it. And that's where you lose your authenticity, you lose your genuine self, you lose your highest possible expression, you lose your creative impulse. That's where you lose your novelty. Now, a lot of comments are coming. Let me just read a couple of them. Angela say, yes, I led for much of my life feeling like I was never enough. I felt trapped and thought I didn't have full control of my life. No more, no way. It's interesting when you work through all of that. This is so true. Once you realize that, once you transcend that limitation, I'm not enough, subconsciously you won't feel obliged to box yourself in what the society consider this is good enough. Now, in the webinar, I'm going to talk more in details where that came from and how to transcend it. But I'm going to give you some information again to tease you here. Imagine at the beginning, we live in a sea of limitless possibilities. There is only one being, limitless being, just holding like a sea of limitless possibilities. You might call it God, spirit, truth, it doesn't matter. That limitless possibilities, it expresses itself through every single form, through me, through tree, through any form, physical form. Now, one of those possibilities is to believe that I am only my body, or I am only my religion, or I am only my name, or I am only my sexual gender, or I am only my nationality. Once you believe yourself to be limited thing, like body, or anything that's limited, then by definition, anything limited feels not enough. That's by definition. Anything, Susan saying, just talked to my friend about this this morning. Amazing, we're in sync. Any belief that is limited, that you believe that this is me, the natural feeling of it, I am not enough. You can't feel enoughness when you believe yourself to be limited. You have to understand that you're limitless in order to tap into that infinite enoughness that's within you already. Actually, at the level of limitless, the word enough and not enough, it dissolves. It doesn't make any sense anymore, because limitless, there is nothing called enough or not enough at the level of limitless. There's only abundance for everyone. Abundance for everyone. So it's really interesting once you transcend that. And let me tell you how that feeling of I'm not enough, it manifests in your life. In your relationship, you will try to change yourself. In your business, you're going to only seek for likes from outside, and you're going to only seek for shares without being genuinely connected to your message. Yazan have a question. Please ask it, Yazan. So exactly, Susan, our mind tells us that we are limited because the mind is operating from limited. The mind is a tool to understand limited things, so you can't understand the limitless in it. Isn't it the basic, Yazan is asking, isn't it the basic human nature? Nothing is never enough. Well, Yazan, I won't agree with that. That's the nature of when you believe that you are limited. When you believe yourself to be that, for example, I'm only Yazan, or I'm only physical, or I'm only my body, then by definition you will feel limited, and the result of feeling limited is I'm not enough. Now, when you feel enoughness, that doesn't mean you won't have drive. You will have drive, but a completely different level. You will have completely different motivation. It comes from a pure, refined, clean, neat, creative place of expansion, of generosity. Any place that you operate from that's not enoughness, it will always be needy. You will put material out to get likes. You will write a book so you'll get something. There's always that needy energy. And interestingly enough, needy energy creates always need. So it's like a hamster wheel. You keep revolving in it. Hopefully my answer was clarifying, Yazan. Now, once you really realize that you are a limitless being, the word enough and not enough, it just boom, dissolves from your consciousness. And that's where you awaken to limitless possibilities. And that's where you bring your fullness to life. Susan is saying, an idea to do something comes in, feel excited, then take ourselves out of it. So is that a question, Susan? I'm not sure what it is. What are you talking about is called, Yazan saying what you're talking about is called satisfaction. Yeah, you might call it that way. You might call it satisfaction. I would argue that it's, correct me if I'm wrong, please. So let me guys just finish what I'm saying so I can answer all the questions. So just give me 2 minutes. So once you open to that limitless understanding, you drop the thought of I'm enough and not enough. It does not make sense to you anymore. It does not make sense to you anymore because your sense of wholeness is from inside. And that's where you open up to the sea of limitless possibilities. Because you cannot understand, you cannot open up to infinite possibilities if you feel I am not enough. Now, once you start to have that shift, the mind will start to fight it because our motivational system, our motivational operating system was built for years and geared from the understanding that I'm not enough. I need to take value from out. I need to take enoughness from outside. So once you start evolve beyond that, you're gonna feel like your mind gonna feel, oh my God, this is really uncertain because I don't know how I'm gonna motivate myself without that. Now it's fine, you might go through like 3 or 4 days just looking around, not knowing what to do, but that's fine. Then another new level of motivation will hit you. It's more centered, it's more heart-based motivation. I remember when I start transcending really from the root, that feeling of I'm not enough or I'm enough, just realizing my limitless being. What happened, I was planning, I always plan my week on Tuesday. I opened the paper to plan my week, and for the first time I didn't feel the need to just put too much activities. And that's why I realized that the reason I was putting so much activities is because I was taking my sense of enoughness of being productive or efficient. And that's where I started to free myself and I had a lot more space. Now imagine how that is playing in every single area in your life. In your business, as we said, you're gonna always look to please other people. You're gonna always look for just likes, more likes and more share. And you cannot please and serve at the same time. I cannot please my clients and serve them at the same time. If I want to serve them, I have to be right. I have to say what's truth to me. And what you can't say what's truthful to you if part of your motivation is tinted with the need to take enoughness from outside. You're gonna always change your message. You're gonna always tame it back. Now that's different than being socially intelligent. Yes, when you feel enoughness, you will be social. You can be socially intelligent and put your message in a more persuasive way, but it won't come from the need to take anything out. And for me, that's what the true definition of generosity is. Being whole inside, and from that wholeness, you're radiating something more. Susan say we take ourselves out of doing things, the fear of feeling I'm not good enough. That's so true. And I would argue, even Susan, I'm not good enough is not really a feeling, although that's what I called my webinar. I'm not good enough is a thought. The feeling of it is fear. It's a deeply rooted fear, and once you liberate yourself from it, you liberate yourself from the core human limitation. And believe me in that, you have no idea how much behaviors, how much relationships that you've been tolerating that doesn't add value to you, you just had it in your life because you were taking that enoughness from it. Once you realize that you don't need that because I'm enough and I'm not enough is just a thought that the limited mind can entertain, but the limitless mind doesn't have it, that's where most of you free yourself from a lot of things that don't serve you, and that's where life becomes simple, clean, neat, focused, right to the core of your purpose. So Hiba is saying, how do you liberate yourself from that? That's an amazing question, Hiba. And that's why I'm doing my webinar on the 5th of May. I'm going to put the link for it below, because this goes to the core of our perception. You can't just say, I am enough 100 times a day and then feel you are enough. It doesn't work that way. You need to really have a shift from believing yourself to be limited into limitless. I'm going to share very practical things, cutting edge information, how to do that. This information that I'm going to share with the webinar is the same information I share with my ideal clients, with my high-end clients, before I take them into the highest possible expression. So you cannot live your highest possible expression, your truth, if you feel you're not enough, because by definition you're limiting your possibilities. First, I help them to see, to go beyond I'm not enough and I'm not enough, to open up to that field of limitless possibility, so they can bring through their being that flow of highest possible expression. Hiba is saying, looking forward to it, thank you, and I look forward to see you there. Bro, can I check, how can I see all the comments, because there are a lot of comments coming. That's the way. Hani is saying, aloha brother, can you speak a little and explain to me something I have been really curious to understand. How does the core belief hijack the eyes and ears so that they hear what, so they hear what corresponds to that core idea? What do you think is the mechanics that makes belief influence our sensory integration of the universe? Thank you, Hani. I will tell you what I believe about that situation. I will share with you a story, and hopefully it's clarifying. It's a story, actually I heard it by my mentor, Brian Ridgway. So he was telling me about a guy, he wanted to sell his home in Hawaii. And every time he would do the calculation, he would look to the home and it's not the price he's seeking to sell the home in it. So he wait a bit. Then he did a work with Brian. It was mainly about deservance and I'm not enough. What happened? After that work, he decided to do the calculation again. And he realized that every single time he was making the calculation, he was making a mistake. He literally was making a mathematical mistake, so he would think that the home is like $50,000 is less than it's worth. So how that affects your reality? He literally was pressing in the calculator the wrong numbers all the time, just because he had the belief I'm not enough. So that belief is not just filtering the way you see reality, it's literally, mathematically, when he was pressing in the calculator, he was pressing the wrong numbers, because the brain has something called the drive for congruence. The drive for congruence, meaning we cannot say anything or act in any certain way that's not in incongruence with our core beliefs. And if you have a belief that I'm not enough, you're gonna always act in that certain way. You're gonna filter every information and resources around you that might indicate that you are enoughness, and you will only go in that way. So yes, we always act according to our beliefs. And what I'm saying, I'm not enough, is the core limitation. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me see if there is another comments as well. Yes, trying our finance, I do the same. Love Brian Ridgway. I like that. Plan your week. A focus. Looking forward to things. So yeah, I guess that was it. And guys, I'm gonna drive for congruence. Yeah, this is one of our deepest drivers, and we always work in congruent with our self-image. So if you think you are enoughness, you're gonna work in congruent with that. If you think you're not enough, you're gonna work in congruent with that. So, and that's where you literally, you bend your physical reality to match that belief you had about yourself. So, that was my video for today. I'm gonna share the webinar, the link of the webinar. Make sure, I'm gonna say again and again, make sure to attend the webinar, because this is for you. I already know that information. This is for you. And in the same way that information changed my life, it's changing my client's life, it will change your life. How I know that? Because I know what happens when you take that factor of I'm enough and I'm not enough from your mind. Suddenly you open up to a whole new world. Thank you everyone, and thank you Susan, and have a great day. Bye bye. And my friend wants to say bye bye.
Hey, see you later.
Bye bye.